Hey everybody, it's Craig with Smartphone Emmy, and today we're going to have a face-off between Samsung's Epic 4G and HTC's EVO 4G. Both of them are dual-band CDMA, EVDO Rev A 3G, and they also both offer WiMAX 4G connectivity. The Epic 4G weighs in at 154 grams, build quality high-grade plastic on the front and sides, nice chrome accented metal rim that runs the entire perimeter of the phone. Got a full slide-out QWERTY keyboard. Very solid on the back, soft rubberized texture coating along with a nice accent around the camera. Taking a look around the Epic 4G, on the bottom is the microphone. On the left hand side, volume rocker up and down. On top is your 3.5mm headphone jack along with your micro USB ports. Got a great little door to protect it and give you easy access. On the right hand side is the power and lock key as well as your dedicated camera key. Alright, on the EVO 4G, weighs in at 168 grams. Build quality, high-grade plastic along the front and sides. On the back, nice soft rubberized texture coating, along with a cool accent, red and chrome looking around the camera. And you've got your chrome looking kickstand here at the bottom as well. Alright, taking a look around the EVO 4G, you've got your HDMI port as well as your micro USB port and microphone down here on the bottom of the phone. On the top is a 3.5mm headphone jack along with your power and lock key, and on the right hand side is the volume rocker up and down. Alright, on the back of the Epic 4G you've got a 5-megapixel camera with autofocus, LED flash, geotagging, blink detection as well as anti-shake. It shoots HD quality video at 720p. Underneath the battery covers a 1500 milliamp battery, rated at 6.5 hours of talk time. Also underneath the battery cover is your micro SD card slot. The battery does not need to be removed to replace or exchange the micro SD card. On the EVO 4G on the back, you've got an 8-megapixel camera with autofocus, dual LED flash, face detection, as well as geotagging. It also shoots HD quality video at 720p. Underneath the battery cover on the EVO 4G, you also have a 1500 milliamp battery. This one's rated at 6 hours of talk time. Also have your micro SD card slot underneath here. You do have to remove the battery, replace or exchange micro SD cards on the EVO 4G. Alright, on the front of these two, the Epic 4G upper right hand corner, you've got a front facing VGA camera for video calls. Below that is the 4-inch Super AMOLED capacitive touch display showing 480 by 800 pixels. It offers multi-touch, accelerometer sensor, proximity sensor, as well as a 6-axis sensor. Just below the display you have 4 touch sensitive keys, a search key, a back key, a home key, as well as a main menu key. On the EVO 4G upper right hand corner you have a 1.3 megapixel camera, front facing camera for video calls. Below that is a 4.3-inch capacitive touch display showing 480 by 800 pixels, offers multi-touch, proximity sensor, as well as an accelerometer sensor. Just below the display you have 4 touch sensitive keys, a search key, a back key, main menu key, as well as a home key. Memory on the Epic 4G, 512 megabytes of RAM, 512 megabytes of ROM. Memory can be expanded an additional 32 gigabytes through the use of micro SD cards. On the EVO 4G, you've got 1 gigabyte of ROM, 512 megabytes of RAM, and again, memory can be expanded an additional 32 gigabytes through the use of micro SD cards. Wi-Fi, Epic 4G offers B, G, and N with support for DLNA. EVO 4G offers Wi-Fi B and G. Both of them have Bluetooth version 2.1 with support for A2DP. Both of them have GPS with support for AGPS. Both of the phones can be used as Wi-Fi hotspots. Epic 4G can tether up to 5 devices simultaneously, EVO 4G up to 8. As far as processors, Epic 4G runs on the ARM Cortex-A8 Hummingbird 1 GHz processor. EVO 4G runs on Qualcomm Snapdragon 1 GHz processor. Operating systems, the Epic 4G runs on Android 2.1 Eclair with Samsung's TouchWiz 2.5 UI overlay. And the HTC EVO 4G runs on Android 2.2 Froyo with HTC Sense UI overlay. All right, let's continue our face-off between the Samsung Epic 4G and HTC's EVO 4G. Take a little closer look at the user interface on these two smartphones. Again, they both run on the Android OS. Epic 4G Android 2.1 Eclair has a Samsung TouchWiz 2.5 UI overlay. And again, the EVO 4G runs on the Android 2.2 Froyo operating system and has HTC Sense UI overlay. Basically what that means is you're going to get 7 different panels on both of these phones that you can customize on the Epic 4G, either with Samsung or Android widgets, bookmarks, folders, contact information, or application shortcuts. On the EVO 4G, again, the same 7 panels. This time you can customize them with HTC or Android widgets. Again, bookmarks, folders, contact information, or application shortcuts. Let's take a quick look at some of the different widgets on both of these smartphones. We'll start with the calendar widget. Again, on the Epic 4G, you have a calendar clock. If you have appointments, they show up on the clock. Tapping on this is a shortcut directly to the calendar application. HTC, you've got a full month view. You can have a week view, agenda view, day view. But tapping on this is also a shortcut to the application. There's your buddies now, or shortcuts to make a call or send a direct message to a contact. Look at both of those. Here's your weather widgets on both of the smartphones. Here's your stock widget to track stocks. On the Epic 4G, it's a single stock. You can track multiple stocks on HTC EVO 4G. There is no bookmark widget on the Epic 4G. There's also no programs running in the background or running programs widget for the HTC. So there's a couple of different things on each. And then finally, the friend stream or buddies now, feeds and updates on the Epic 4G. Both of them cover the same thing. They both cover Facebook, Twitter, as well as MySpace. So there's a look at some of the different widgets on the two phones. Let's take a look at the main menus real quick. And on the EVO, you've got 4 across. It scrolls up and down. On the Epic 4, you've got 4 across, and the menu moves left to right. Go to the home key. There's shortcuts on both of these to access the different panels. On the Epic 4G, you've got the 7 dots up here at the top. Tapping on one of them will take you directly to that panel. On the EVO 4G, from the home screen, tapping on the home key will bring up a 7-panel overview. Active shortcuts, you can tap on anyone to go directly to it, squeeze it back together, and it'll give you the overview. Tap on it to get back home. Both of the phones multitask. Holding down the home key on both of the phones will bring up the task managers. Something new on Froyo, you now get to see 8 of your recent apps that you had open in the background. Again, tapping on any one of them will take you directly to it. There you go. On the Epic 4G, something a little different. You still only have 6 recent applications showing up because it's 2.1 Eclair, but Samsung has a built-in task manager, which is pretty cool. It gives you an opportunity to end tasks that you'd like to close in the background. Also gives you a summary of where your RAM is at the moment and storage on both the internal storage on the phone as well as the micro SD card, which I thought was pretty slick. Both of the phones had notification panels up here at the top. Something a little different on the Epic 4G. Samsung gives you shortcuts for 4 different applications, one for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 4G, and GPS. Other than that, they're exactly the same. They notify you either for emails, text messages, missed calls, voicemail, pretty much everything on the phone. You can tap on it to go directly to it. You can hit clear to get rid of your notifications, or you can simply close it. And if you still have notifications left, you'll get a notice or status of those notifications in the upper left-hand corner. Anyway, there's a quick look at the user interface on both the Epic 4G and the EVO 4G.